Hey everybody, it's True Disciple bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary, and once again we are here with the man, DeLoAdEr, who has now won 2 of our marathon games, and I'm just making this up as I go along. As I mentioned before, these are just a couple of matches, 3 matches from DeLoAdEr from recent clan matches, and they were basically handpicked by a friend of mine, a member of his clan as well, as DeLoAdEr's best games from the recent clan matches. Now I don't know what happens as they came from a friend. I mean, best games means from him. I always know he always tries to send me the most interesting games, so it doesn't mean that his friend won. So I don't know what happens in any of these. Obviously, we've seen DeLoAdEr win 2 of them already, and now we are looking at a TVP. We're on Tal'Darim Altar, which is one of my favorite pro scene tournament maps, and I love it so much. It's just the construction of it, the way it is, and all these shiny doodads make it so nice. So, and of course, because it leads to heavy macro games. I actually don't like playing on this map, though, but I love watching games that are on it. But I think that's probably just because I'm good at the early game, and I tend to fail when it gets to the macro. Once you get past 2 bases and I have to get a 3rd, I usually start to fail pretty badly. So, but I guess practice makes perfect, and I probably just need to play more. Here we have this scout coming out. Oh, let's talk about these players and bring up the nameplates, shall we? So DeLoAdEr we all know, and Nort is our other player. As I mentioned with the other games, I'm just kind of a bit lazy right now, so I haven't been looking these players up. I'm not sure what the situation is for Nort and where he is, and I guess it makes it a little bit more exciting for me, because since I don't know where he is on the ladder, I can't kind of gauge his chances against a player like DeLoAdEr. He may be better, he may be worse, but we'll have to find out as the game progresses. It is a clan match, and so we know that all these players in these clans, at least for the most part, are at least Masters League players. I don't think there are any Diamond players in their clans. So they're all Masters League and Grandmasters. So I'm not sure exactly where Nort stands, and I'm not sure which clan he is in. If you guys want to post it below, if you know, feel free to do so. So, and for most of my games, I will be looking those things up. I'm sorry that I'm not doing it for these, but I just want to cast as many games as I can with no stalls in between. So let's talk about the builds a little bit here. We see that just a normal build coming out from Nort. We have 1 gas down, and he is already up to 22 supply, 23 supply now. So it looks like he's been using that Chrono Boost on getting those using the Chrono Boost to get as many of those probes out as possible. No second gas yet, so I mean at 25 with no second gas, I think we may be looking at a 4-gate. So, and here comes DeLoAdEr scouting it. Oh, and there he's going to throw down the second gas. So I'm not sure if he was waiting till 26 on purpose. I mean, 26, it was getting to the point where I was pretty sure he'd do a 4-gate. He could still possibly do a 4-gate at this point. And I'm wondering if he threw down that gas because DeLoAdEr scouted, or if he threw down the gas because that was his intention all along. 26 is a pretty normal time to be throwing down that second gas. Meanwhile, DeLoAdEr, no gas at all, but going for the fast expansion. So, man, you know, if this gets scouted, I'm not sure if this has. Let's check the units real quick. I was talking so much at the beginning, I didn't see what's going on. So no, this was not scouted. So if our Protoss player, Nort, has no idea about this expansion right here, but he is about to come up here and find out right now. And as he comes up and finds this bunker here, he may either be very happy or very sad. We'll find out. He has 3 gateways, so he is committed to at least a 3-gate, and then probably go for, he'll either go for a 3-gate expand, so he feels safe expanding himself to catch up, or he might go for some kind of 4-gate all-in. So, but I think, of course, you know, in the pro scene especially, the smartest thing to do is to go for the safe play rather than the all-in kind of play, which it looks like he's going to be doing as he comes up to throw down that Nexus. So definitely a smart play from Nort. Going to be going for just that 3-gate fast expansion. Well, not that fast at this point, but 3-gate expand is definitely a very safe play from Protoss. If I expand, I usually do the Forge fast expand just because I like risky builds. But this is a very safe build from Protoss, and if you know, well, in any league you can try this out, because it works really well at holding off any kind of early push, because you do have the 3 gateways. You do get the warp gate still pretty quick. Warp gate C is already done. He has 3 units about to pop out, and he could have gotten units early on. Of course, the scouting comes down to it too. If he had scouted here and seen some kind of cheese coming from DeLoAdEr, he could have prepared. He would have had gateways ready to go. He would have been able to produce units, and he would have been alright. So, but these 3 gates will allow him to produce enough units to kind of hold off any push. It gives him the sentries that he needs to be able to deal with the early pushes by throwing down force fields on the ramp and kind of holding the units back, splitting them in half, and meanwhile allows him to get his Nexus, so he'll be able to keep up with DeLoAdEr on macro. However, DeLoAdEr's expansion has been down for over a minute now and is nicely saturated. Not fully saturated yet, but nicely saturated. A fully saturated mana looks like about a half saturated expansion for DeLoAdEr right now, and so DeLoAdEr is just pulling ahead. Now, of course, Nort was using the Chrono Boost on his probes early on, so he did have a higher count earlier on, but now the SCV count for DeLoAdEr is starting to catch up, and of course with the mules the income is going to be a little higher for DeLoAdEr right now. So Nort throwing down some more gateways, looking to play some heavy gateway right here, taking a page out of Huck's book, well, many Protoss's books I should say, just I've been watching some recent Huck games, and I don't know how many of you are excited to be seeing him in the DreamHacks coming up. I hope he does well there. We'll see how he does. It should be pretty exciting. I know I'll be watching it all weekend long. And let's see what's going on here. We got some more stalkers coming out. Let's bring up that production tab. We see a factory is going down. Infantry level weapons, stim pack about to be researched, and just more macro for the moment. Another gateway is just finishing up for Nort. That's going to bring us to a grand total of 6 gateways. So we're looking at 6 gateways up against what is looking like just wow, triple racks with a factory, and this factory will obviously be for 10. No. I'm confused. It's obviously building a reactor for the starport to make medevacs and possibly Vikings as well if needed, but I'm sure that mainly is for the Vikings. Meanwhile, he's going to be killing these rocks. DeLoAdEr definitely doesn't want to fall behind the macro. Nort is well ahead on, I'm assuming well ahead on the army as well. Let's check the army. Yeah, the army is much bigger for Norton right now, and Norton might be looking to make a push. And look at how gas heavy Norton's army is compared to DeLoAdEr's army. DeLoAdEr's army is very, very marine heavy, and I mean these units will be able to tear this up if they want to. Let's keep an eye on that production tab. Actually, let's look at the army tab while they're fighting and see those armies get melted away. We see DeLoAdEr's forces are staying pretty strong. That stim able to keep him alive pretty well, and now his forces starting to melt away as well, but it looks like the forces of Nort are melting away a lot faster. Oh, now a little bit back and forth, a little bit more melting away for DeLoAdEr, and now his force able to do some damage and able to pull back and stay alive. Do we have a proxy pylon? We do indeed have a proxy pylon, able to pull up some new forces up to the front line. Meanwhile, Nort keeping a lot of his troops alive, but losing about half of them, but killing well more than half of DeLoAdEr's troop as well, as he was at about like 1,400 in his army tab, and now his army tab is definitely going down to under 500. Meanwhile, these repairing SCVs, we need to see some force fields right here to block that repair. Or he can just kill the SCVs that are repairing. Meanwhile, killing the troops that are pushing forward. Nort's push is doing excellent work right here, but he is starting to get killed off. Reinforcing troops are coming up from the south right now and pushing up in. Meanwhile, Nort decides as he's waiting for his reinforcements that he'll poke up there to see if an expansion is down yet. Now that he has the supporting troops, he's going to push in here again, but he won't be able to do anything against that bunker. Without the force fields, he needs to make a few more sentries, I feel like, at least 3, to be able to drop 3 force fields nicely around the back of that bunker. And when you do that, the Zealots get the front, and the SCVs can't come in here and repair the bunker. And it's just such a powerful tool to use. I mean, any of you Protoss players that are going up against Terrans where you're facing like this, where they love to repair things, use those force fields, man. Those force fields are great. They will block those. Even if the SCVs are already there, if you drop it just right, it will push them away and they will no longer be able to repair. And I mean, Nort just kind of throwing his troops away, going in here, poking in, and as we look at this, look at the army tab. The army tab continuing to spike up bit by bit, and now finally for the first time in the game, DeLoAdEr is ahead of Nort on the army tab. Nort warping in some more units and quickly popping back up above DeLoAdEr. But now look at the gas as well. The gas for their armies is about even. Let's go back to that production tab, see what's going on there. We have missed an armory that is almost done, so we might be looking at seeing some Thors coming out from that armory, but it may likely just be for upgrades as well. We see some, DeLoAdEr just loving those Hellions, man. I'm always expecting to see something else come out of those factories, especially at this point in the game. But as we saw with the last game with Zerg, I mean, he kept producing Hellions all the way into the late game, and he was able to roast quite a few workers with those blue flame Hellions, which are quite nice. And he does have that blue flame upgrade as well, as you can see clearly from the little blue flame that's kind of poking out right there. Meanwhile, his troops are kind of going around, checking